Virginia. Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Right here on ACC Network, always streaming for you on the ESPN app. Kyshawn George, the freshman from Switzerland, launching a three out of the corners out. Omier the rebound.
I'll tell you what, $1 million move, only 10-cent shot, but it was beautiful to get there.
George cannot answer. Earl Grant's team. Miami's hit just 2 of their last 10. George, foul line leaner. Good.
Nice patience by George getting into the painted area, using the pump fake, coach, and then the soft touch.
Louisiana. 90 seconds to go and back to a 14-point lead for BC. It's been as big as 16, and George trying to answer.
But the difference is Boston College has moved the basketball.
Pensley Joseph's been playing very well for Miami lately. He penetrates, gets a paint touch, and finds the terrific Luka Poplar, Matthew Cleveland, Norchad Omier. Here's the freshman Kyshawn George looking to work the baseline. And he's every bit of 6'8" now. Again, when they signed him, he was 6'5" and George spins. That's going to be a goaltend down the way down. Jameer Watkins blocked it, so 2 points go up on the board for Miami.
But also has bounce. That's part of the reason he was way up there. But I love the fact that he's crashing the offensive glass, which can be another dimension offensively for this Florida State team.
Well, you know, he only played 8 minutes in the game down.
You see Worley on the switch, fronting Rocco on the box, because Kyshawn George is able to knock down another three. We talked about his accuracy from beyond the arc, shooting 41.8 three-point field goals here in the last dance.
Well, you can be wrong again, because the cheering started when he got up off the bench before Watkins was heading out. And then it morphed into cheering.
Shot clock down to 7. Kyshawn George, a deep three, buries it. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Wow, collapse.
And this has been a Miami team not known for their defense this season, but it's looked very good in this first half against Boston College. Scoop to the hoop, Kyshawn George.
You know, once he gets past.
And now Cleveland off to the freshman.
Mismatch
Kyshawn
inside.
George.
Oh, now nice job by McLaughlin to switch back on Omier.
Deep three by George, and he's way off the mark, and it gives the ball back to Boston College to shoot. George in attack mode, working on Madsen for a double team, floats it up off the window. Wow. Better in this second half.
Isn't it amazing how you play better when the ball goes in the basket?
Eagles on a 13-2 run. They are dominating Post and Mason Madsen.
Well, look at those numbers, but let me give you another couple of numbers. That Post and Madsen have made all 7 of BC's three-point baskets. They're 7 for 20.
Big battle for the rebound and a save for the Canes, and here they come.
Confidence right there from Kyshawn George, pulling up on the break.
Man,
this is a young man, and of course he was the leading scorer against Virginia with those 6 made three-point field goals.
And Heels fans love the timing, right, as we close in on the NCAA tournament, first the ACC tournament. But here's George again. You wonder why. Here's George. George backing away. Shot clock down to 4. Through the paint, no. Rebound for Withers to trigger the break here for North Carolina.
OB, but you hear the OB. And of course, anytime you think about Houston at #1, and not that they haven't been there before since, but always takes me back to the Five Slammer Jammer.
Boy, look at this. And with the shot clock almost to 0, George flipped it up there very casually. Here's George again around the back. George wants to heave up a 3. Got it.
He's having himself a time here, OB. This
3 consecutive games beginning tonight. George will back it away. Now in. Gets the shot off, but it doesn't touch anything. He thought he got hit on the hip. Jim Laranaga's team right there, step for step with North Carolina, despite missing 2 starters tonight. George is a big reason why. The three-pointer is a bigger reason. They're 8 out of 12, Miami. Miami coming out with outstanding energy. They got it to this guy, George, quite a bit. He'll misfire here that did not get to the rim.
I think Armando Bacot got a piece of that one. Obi 1 of 14 on Saturday. You knew R.J. Davis was going to respond, but he may double his average here tonight.
This could be a 40-plus point game for R.J. Davis. He does not look
Forced by Miami's full-court defense.
8-0. There's another one. Picked off. George will turn and fire. Got it! A three-pointer. Here comes the game.
Alley-oop lob.
Dongo to the UMass transfer, Tafara Gapari. Kyshawn George knocks down a three. He needed to see that go in. Previous two games, he was 1 for Kelly's three, too strong. Jim Larrañaga said his team is at its best when they defend, rebound, and then run. George from the corner. Right now, Georgia Tech seems quicker to a lot of the loose balls.
Less than a second, that ball's either shot or they're swinging the ball. Excellent offense early by Georgia Tech.
George with a deep three. Both teams have taken more than half their shots.
Not taking a whole lot of time at the monitor.
Miami always looking to push. George, the trailer, lines up a three. And Kyshawn George with his third.
Post area, mid-post, low post. And we saw him out there in shoot-around running around. He looks like he can still go get a double-double.
Kyshawn George with 11, his previous two games.
And again, the message received that was given by their head coach.
George gets free. He's got 16. That's his fourth three.
Shooting this way. My goodness.
Ray Allen's about to be on payroll. George down the lane, Euro step, rebound Gapari. Bounce pass up ahead to Reeves.
Not just in the ACC, but in college basketball. And again, you have to start thinking about trying to get your guys healthy going into the ACC tournament if you're Jim Larrañaga.
7 seconds. Poplar, baseline drive. It doesn't go. It comes back to George. He launches. Time expires. Georgia Tech gets the rope.
have to be offensive-minded in this game,
which he is capable of doing. Thought about the jumper, instead the kick. Kyshawn George a little strong on the three. The freshman from Switzerland steps out. He can shoot the three out there. His three-point shooting has come a long way this year. George with a crossover, frees himself, but couldn't bank it home.
and Miami's getting some good opportunities. They just haven't knocked them down.
In there, but he missed it, and back come the Canes.
This is where Miami can be dangerous in transition.
George lost it, got it back, but missed the shot. And it's out of bounds to Miami. Last year, his three-point percentage is up, and he's already got more blocks and assists than he had all of last season. Kyshawn George with the steal and the finish.
He is one talented freshman. Back on the floor, picked up those 2 fouls, sat the rest of the first half.
Missed the last 9:45, I believe it was, of the first half. He misses the three from the wing. Duke's out here tonight, looking at him, among others. Obviously, interest in Filipowski and Proctor and Poplar and other players as well.
Jared McCain.
Yeah, Jared McCain, yeah, with the way that he's playing. Nwoko turns and puts it up. And the offensive rebound to Jobe. Now George. And the shots just will not fall for the Hurricane.
Huge blow, and you can see right now early on, Miami struggling offensively.
Kyshawn George launches, and the rebound by Quentin Post, who averages 8 per game.
Starts. That's not been the case this afternoon.
Hot shooting by BC, and the drive by George. Here comes Mason Madsen, since he was inserted into Post. Stolen by Bensley Joseph, the best on-the-ball defender for the Canes. George can't convert. Good offense at halftime and on to the 1994 Elite Eight team. UC and Miami back and forth. A deep three for Kyshawn George. Rims out. And
baseline stagger. And he curled it right in the middle of the lane. That is a difficult shot, but his stroke so compact.
And that's a difficult cover. Gerard was on George, and George showing no ill effects. So more than 2.5 times as effective when the ball's moving. I was told there would be no math.
You're good at it, though.
I mean, if Jim Larrañaga's given us that, Nwoko needs some help and finds George. Shot clock's at 4.
Does George know it? He does. Misses a 35-footer. Nwoko. I think that ball hit the rim. Yeah. Omier wants to go to work on Hall. The kick. George for three. Miami's getting some good looks, but those are good shots. Gerard has been on George most of the game. I don't know if you had to guess matchups at the beginning of the night. You would have thought this is where Gerard would be, but this is where he's been, and George beats him here, knocking down a three. Well, how about...
Boy, and George forces up an extremely tough shot as they never got anything going. That was just 20.
Handoff for Joseph. Thought about it. Deep one for George, and he hits it to tie the game. Bensley Joseph set that up with the pen of George. They're trying to get the ball into Shefflin and take advantage of the size that he's got on Cleveland, but they haven't really been able to do it. And George at the other end to extend the lead. Anytime he does not want to foul him, and Clemson's so far had the advantage from the foul line. George keeps his toe down and buries the three. What a big play by George.
Problems with the entire league. Kyshawn George off the fake. The talented freshman can't hit it. And his growth has really been something to watch from Miami.
Garnered the respect of Jim Larinaga and this Miami Hurricane team when he dropped those 33, so much so that they put size on him this game.
George will fire. Nice touch there from three-point land.
And the freshman George has
on the spin. Poplar, nothing there. George taking a look. Shot clock to 3. Got to get one up there. Clean feed to Pack. Shot clock's under 10. Here's George. He can't drive it. Spinning. Got free. Flips it up there. Follows his miss and sticks that one.
Unfortunate for Miami.
In so many ways. On and off the court. Great story. Big time numbers too. Here's George out of the corner. Yes, sir. He swishes in a 3.
Kyshawn George.
Slam it down on the other end of the floor. How about that?
Back-to-back turnovers.
2 minutes to play here in Miami. George driving it around Barron. Scoop shot, yes! And a foul! And the freshman will be headed to the line. Minute 38 to go. Blocked by George. Trying to get ahead on the run. Gets around Padula. And a terrific block by Barron. He came in from behind. And now
a lot of dribbling by Joseph, who certainly looked like he dragged the feet there, got away with it, and then sets up George for a rattled-in 3.
Boy, this is a good-looking freshman for Jim Lair.
Shot by Omier is back on the floor along with Joe Bay. Gets it to George, and Joe Bay's got another offensive rebound. He sets up Joseph, who hits from 3. It's 3
Problems and issues for NC State are definitely fixable. You got to take care of the basketball. You got to make shots around the rim. And when you can score, you can set your defense.
They've given up a lot of offensive rebounds. 7 as middle. Game score out of Stanford. George all alone for 3. Miami's just not hit from out there. It's the last touch, but Larinaga's team in the wrong direction.
Well, NC State +4 in the turnover margin, and typically Kevin Keith's teams do turn you over for extra possessions. But Miami's turnovers have been neutralized by...
The rebound for Omier. Here's Joseph. Miami is pushing tempo as you expected they might. Joseph finds George. Taylor rips it away. NC State with a 3-on-3, and Joe...
Not just drop his hands. That allowed him to get into the rhythm of his shot.
George from Poplar. Rounded out off the glass. Here's O'Connell. His pass is tipped out of bounds, but again it's Pat. Guarded by Taylor. George from way out. That is not the shot for Miami.
You got to stay aggressive here if you're in.
He reset the 10-second count, so an inexplicable mistake. Miami gets the ball back down 4. George has a clean look. Missed it deep. Flying try by Joseph for the rebound. Joseph saves it to Poplar.
Pitt going a little, they're going smaller out there, looking for matchups out on the perimeter. This is George, had it deflected. Federico. His way into that Pitt D. Gets it back. Needs to shoot it. Gave it up. George got it away in time. And he made it right at the horn. And he put team 14 in favor of Miami, which was a huge win for Miami. That was a stat they were really concerned about going into this game. Leggett. George the board for the Canes. And I think as he matures and gets stronger that George is going to be a terrific rebounder. We know he can do that. Fingertip on it. George wrestles it away. Still limited second chance points for Pittsburgh. O'Meara tracks it down. That's now 5 of 22 on three-pointers. O'Meara with an awkward-looking dribble. Got it to George. But Teddy Valentine said he kept his hand on top of the basketball. 20 points put on the board by Pitt. Poplar saves it in the corner. It's only a second to go on the shot clock. For George! I mean,
Burton has it poked away by Matthew Cleveland. Here comes Kyshawn. Going end-to-end, laying it in.
We would talk about freshman guards when we
never saw him in person before signing him play basketball. They had gotten a tip from our own Jonathan Givoni from ESPN saying, hey, there's a kid here playing high school.
Talking about 16.3 points per game, and he continues to become an even better point guard as the season has gone along.
Kyshawn George, no. Ja the rebound. Here comes the coach's son, Braden Shrewsbury. 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Miami trying to build on its 5-point lead. George from the corner. Offensive rebound. However, after grabbing it, Christian.
Well for you when you get, especially if you got the easy looks around the rim, and you see North Chatham-Mere with 9 of 11, a very efficient scoring game for him thus far.
Kyshawn George knew he was short on that shot. Joseph, back to George. O'Meara goes up above it. St. Joseph High School here in South Bend. He's got the Irish up by 3. George. All by himself, Kyshawn George. If Burton fouls, he fouls out. Kyshawn George for 3.
Very good shooters, very good from 3. Now they will struggle with turnovers. Here's George. A deep one is off the mark for Kyshawn George and cleaned up by the Orange's leading. About an 88-foot pass from under the basket. George from Joseph. Spot up 3 is good for Kyshawn George. Miami with Nwoko, Cleveland, Poplar, and the man of the hour, Nigel Pack. It'll be the freshman George back in the game who takes it into tie.
The Bell has to get
high 12 assists on triple-double watch here at the Dome. George again into the body of Bell. Kyshawn George, the freshman, on the right side of the lane. Of George, he will get it to him.
You got to get out of his way, young fella.
Nwoko's going to set the screen. George rises.
Kyshawn George, young man. Sophomore out of Memphis. Good defense by Poplar. Up ahead to George.
Yeah, you got to get out of the way. If you're not there early, get out of the way. That's why I say protect the first one, and then you can challenge that.
George's 3, offensive rebound, O'Meara. Blocked away by Cole. Better, 9 assists tonight on 12 made field goals.
Awardy has a lot to do with that. He defends and uses his length, and he's first first point guard.
George, the friendly roll time. George driving on Danny. He's going to be a good one.
He is so talented.
O'Meara wanted it. Here's Cleveland. George wide open. And he knocks down the 3. 7 straight made back.
George got Spears in the air, gets separation. His fires. O'Meara on the putback.
You couldn't see him from.
George launches, spins out, and the rebound for Padula.
The Hurricanes now 1 for 7 from beyond the arc.
Or the other night from 3 for Virginia Tech. And the start they're on today where they're 4 of 9. That's pretty gaudy shooting. There's George trying to end Miami's drought. The Canes are now 1 of their last 13.
Padula really likes that hook pass, and he's thrown 3 of them away tonight.
George a 3. The freshman from Switzerland's 27th 3 of the year is his first point. Now here's Pack. 10 to shoot. Skip for George. He'll launch from the logo and bank it in. Wow, what a big shot for the freshman.
Finding him in transition, finding him along the baseline, finding him off penetration. George, the theft, the patience, and 1. Drive, turns it over. Wide open, George. It's good.
You know, it's been impressive. Great decision right there by Pack. Great just getting into the window. The window's the area, all right, to create space and vision of the passer.
George off the feed from Joseph, and Jovanovic couldn't control the rebound. You mentioned these.
Really important right now. Louisville, 2 stops in a row. They got to get 2 stops in a row.
Bigger lineup for Miami with Casey and O'Meara out there, along with George. And another rebound by Huntley Hatfield. And that's for the tie. And Louisville pulls even. George the other way. They were sleeping and Miami caught him.
What a great. We got the 8-minute timeout coming up in the next dead ball. You must have a good possession right now if you're Miami.
George cannot answer. And the rebound corralled by Louisville.
Height advantage over Miami. See if that becomes a factor on the offensive glass.
Reed and Carr on the front line for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, but that's a 3 coming out right away.
33 in that first game, but then he's just been right around his average, but there every single game.
That'll go out of bounds, and 2 for the initial indication.
You know, we laid out the numbers for Miami shooting the ball. Wake Forest is not too far behind them in their offensive efficiency either.
George on the drive. He went down. Here comes Miller. Hesitation. Salas. Shot clock is inside of 10. George just weaving his way. O'Meara is there to clean it up. Good work on the glass. O'Meara now in that situation. As a team, Miami 37% from the floor. George trying to improve that percentage, and he will with a 3 ball.
Yeah, and you leave him alone like 6'7" is a little tougher cover for him. It's got the length and to bother his shot.
George rocking the 3 ball.
And at 6'8", he
Basket of the game for the senior Andrew Carr from Westchester, Pennsylvania, and a transfer from Delaware. That is George missing from beyond the arc. Joseph playing with 3 personal fouls. He's yet to score in the game. George, 3-pointer.
And what Hildreth felt got a little too cute on the drive on the break that time.
George lining up a 3, and he makes it for the Canes. 19 won't be at day's end, but he had that final shot. Inside George, what a feed from O'Meara.
Got him lifted so no bigs inside for Wake Forest.
George, Miller, batted out by Reed, right to George.
And good job of him hanging around.
Quick 3 attempt, Cleveland. Cleveland had a chance to win it in regulation with about a 17, 18-footer. This is Kyshawn George, not enough on it.
Kind of a tired shot.
2 guys in this game in Pack and Gerard who can shoot it from about as deep as anybody in the country. Kyshawn George misses the 3 and Shefflin the rebound.
Kyshawn George, who's into the ball game, big deck, he'll often spin the other way, dribbles right and spins. Miami can get some steals there if they're alert to it.
George open in the corner, and he'll answer with a 3. Second 3 already for the Canes. Alive for Miami.
Joseph, one of the best defenders in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Just works so hard on and off the ball.
George off the screen, leaves it a little short. Hull down with a board.
But anytime you go under a screen, Joe Girard is just going to stop and pop.
George tried to cradle it and lay it in, knocked out of bounds. And we will step a shooter, but boy, he's got all the tools where he can hurt you in a lot of ways. Joseph somehow keeps the dribble alive. They got the shot off, but George can't hit. But look at this cut. Hall's got a height advantage on Omier, but Omier, and Hall is strong, but Omier's in a whole other league, it looks like, of strength. George from the corner. Hunter has it knocked away. Joseph created it. Joseph runs it down. George for three.
Boy, George has so much ability.
You know, what are the talking points? And he said ACC Championship Final Four. I mean, he blurted it out. George from the wing with his third three. And just a little bit too high for Dylan Hunter to put it down. Pack. George is hot tonight. The tip, no. But Casey...
Job by Clemson. They put two on Pack and made him give it up.
And he can't get it back. Dylan Hunter won't let him. George hoists it up and hits his fourth three of the game.
With the shot clock.
Girard, no. Rebound for Watson. Miami can take the lead.
Boy, just too tough of a shot.
George. And the battle for the rebound. It is out of bounds. A 5-point game. Miami with the lead and the ball. George. Not this time. He's already made 4 threes here tonight.
And it's an homage, a tip of the cap, if you will, to the trolleys in the city of Coral Gables.
Oh, I knew there had to be a reasoning behind that. Of course, you know, when I walked in, I asked you, what color are these uniforms?
Well, you're colorblind. Omier the rebound. Those 17 you mentioned against Stonehill, the best he's had for Miami, not his career high. Easy bucket on the drive-by. Nate Lateras could not. Does next. Over his last 6 games, Corey, averaging 26.6 per game. And as impressive as anything, as George makes the bucket from the corner, back out.
Smart play by George. You see him growing with more and more confidence each and every time out and going step back with a 3-ball, unable to get it. But you always are willing to take those shots when you got that guy. But Bensley does lead Miami in steals, blocks. And he says all the defensive categories as George comes up a little short on that 3.
In only 4 seconds, North Florida had the ball all the way up the court, taken another 3. They've shot 22 of them so far tonight. And that is just about what's
on the floor. But it's just the fact that from a positional size, he's at a disadvantage against the guys he'd be playing against.
Kyshawn George for 3. Does the fact that Omier has a near 7... Ja Enzi missed the 3. Cleveland pushes the tempo.
Oh, that was a block.
In spite of losing their All-American quarterback, they certainly would have some sort of claim. And it's great that they have been placed up as George buried the 3 off a nice feed from Christian. All right, got a trivia question for you, Corey, since we're here at the University of Miami.
Okay.
You know their mascot.
Yes.
Sebastian. Hard to figure that one, Dan.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful stroke for Kyshawn George, who over the last 5, at least for a while, Mellis has a torn labrum, and User has foot surgery scheduled for next week. So when you go into a game like this, Dan, you know you need all of your weapons, and probably a good opportunity to get him extended rest around the holidays against a team that was not expected to be able to challenge Miami tonight. And there is Pavlidis with the jump hook. Rebound cleared by the Canes. Here comes Miami looking for its 9th win of the season. George has a beautiful stroke. It is remarkable on Pavlidis, the 5th year from Queens, New York, out of Cardozo High School. There's George. A little strong on that one. Cleveland, the weak side rebound. Turns tail, drives on Brogna. Cleveland to the corner. George, no. Just couldn't finish the play.
You see why he's having a tough time getting his shot off. He shoots the ball in very low in front of him. And Miami has really prevented him from getting that off.
Rebound for Omier, give him 16. His Miami high for a single game is 17. I don't think he's going to catch his career high, which came at Arkansas State when Omier.
Coming into today, their last game was last Saturday. They won at Lafayette by 16. Kyshawn George emerging for Miami.
Right on cue. We'll get here, right? Got to. Hey, got to get him involved.
The freshman Kyshawn George takes it himself, and that'll work too.
Beautiful take. Coach L told us earlier.
To carve back into this deficit. Christian Watson out there for the first time. Kyshawn George, not bashful. On the glass, Omier. Turned away by Yotus. Kicks it. George trying to just use his basketball instincts. Everything but the bucket. Rebound Marrero.
And throw the ball off of an opponent. Smart basketball play.
George for three. He sticks it. A freshman from Switzerland, Kyshawn George with it. As George, they really like this young man. Terrific basketball IQ, could play any position. Misses the layup there. Simpson back on the floor with it for Omier, who just had his pocket pick. Here and lost it again. George is set up for his second three. And a coming out party for the freshman in the first half.
And this is a game.
Performance this second half has been 47 points in the last 15 minutes now for Colorado. That three in and out for Kyshawn George. Memphis, Texas.
I could see where Kyrie potentially gets some of his finishing ability for him.
Oh, Miami up big, leading by 25. Give him 28. Kyshawn George, the freshman, with that full head of hair. Ahmed Esahati. Kyshawn George fires away, too short. Quick trigger from George. Ball activity with USC. Bronny, right?
Yep.
That'll be really cool. That's another generation of James that are, starting to grow up and play ball. Possibly get. And, they're 6'7", 6'6". And the Woko's obviously got some size to him. But if you were going to put the biggest five on the floor for Miami is George Berry's. I think this is them.
It's very true, especially at their position.
And on January 3rd, buckle up, baby, and grab those shoelaces and yank them a little bit tighter as Kyshawn George gets a bucket.
And let's not steal that LaSalle basketball team. They had it
Explorers,
very crafty.
looking when nobody was watching.
That's the key.
Nobody was in a gym. You had no idea where I was, but I had a ball and a basket.
Work with no eyes. That's going to get you the prize. Great shot by Kyshawn.
Yeah. Only 5 minutes since Miami's last points. And great defense. Knesny swats George from behind. Weeks in the AP top 25. This was an 18th straight week.
Oh, Omier had the advantage. Jai fell and he didn't offer that thing up to the rim.
Better look. Kyshawn George knocks it down.
Kyshawn George.
That. Everything but the bucket for Jai.
That's what's been so frustrating for Jai. And coming off that injury, still getting comfortable here in his second start and third game. The buddies have been bears.
There's a little roll with place action. Dillingham was wide open up at the top of the key.
Edwards could not connect. George off the window, no. Mitchell, nice save.
Kentucky has defended
a chance to win. Dickie, we will see you soon.
And Dave, that's not Dick's house, it's Lorraine's house.
Oh, that's no lie.
He's kind enough to let Dick live there.
From the corner, George getting involved. The freshman knocks one down. Mitchell's got a good look. Won't drop for him. Kyshawn George getting some good minutes now for Larinaga. He'll fire it up again. Can't drop this one home. And a scrap for that.
Good pass.
It's George again. Nothing but air on that one.
Well, George is a good shooter. His shot preparation so good. He was ready to fire as soon as he caught it.
Tough drive in traffic by George. He's having a really active first half.
And really good minutes coming off the bench.
And a basketball. Kyshawn George. He's got a three coming. Shepard with the rebound.
Jim Larrañaga doesn't want to take.
And
he hit one off the. I remember him hitting one off the backboard from the corner and went in. He was on fire. What a rebound.
Led by 19 at the break. Norchad Omier back in the game. Gets rid of it to the corner. George fills it up. Kyshawn George from distance. Couldn't wrestle away the rebound. And instead it's stolen. Bensley Joseph from the line to the lane to the rim. George, a putback jam.
A huge possession. We can't say
in history. First ever player to score more than 25 points in a Baha Mar Hoops Bahamas championship game. And wiggles out for Kyshawn George, the true frosh out of
young, promising, they believe a stud freshman who's seen some playing time here early. He gets the ball coming off the bench. He pulls up and the shot is too strong.
I love the confidence that this young kid plays with.
Three on the way, no good. Arturo Dean not in rhythm. Fired it off the right side of the rim. Here comes Kyshawn George in transition. Tries to get his way to the basket, and then was blocked by Sonoma.
It's a great test.
Here's George, the freshman. He pulls up. Shot no good. And it'll be Miami basketball. They're going to say that's off of Ibrahim at the hardwood. Hands it off to Nigel Pack. Stutter step down low on the baseline. Finds a wide open. Kyshawn George looks good, but it's too strong. And the ball rolls off of Germany.
Big shot. We have a 9-point basketball game here.
Nice screen by Omier. George fires away for three. No good. Miami's gone ice cold from beyond the arc.
Oh, that just shows you the strength of Norchad. He's pushing these guys all the way off the block.
Here's Kyshawn George, the freshman, for three. No good. He's had a couple of open looks tonight. Can't connect quite yet. The paint, right-hand shot, no good. Matthew Cleveland with the rebound. Numbers for Miami, 4 on 3. George, wide open three. He'll try again.
That's a big shot by the freshman. Just missed it.
It's into the opener. Gaines leading by a baker's dozen. Kyshawn George in. That's a deep three for the freshman. Off the mark. Too strong off to the right. I mean, with 90 points.
Miami would definitely break 100 today.
Kyshawn George looking to say something about that. That three is no good. That was way too short. Just wonder why.
The statistics report that the DMV area produces more Division I college basketball players than any other area in the country.
Wow.
This is a hotbed for basketball talent.
Kyshawn George on the flip, keeping it alive. 3-point deep from post, spins out. George, Cleveland. Miami needs a.
Leonard Hamilton. He went all outgoing players, seniors, to begin the ball game. So Jalen Worley back into the starting lineup. And he misses the junior guard from Philadelphia that he has. If he can continue to expand on those, can he find a place in the NBA someday, do you think?
I believe he'll find a place in the NBA the way he is right now. When you think of the strength, and he has.
And then nobody was available to block out Nwoko.
Harris goes with the three. Post wanted him to pass it to him after he set the screen.
Again, Harris is a scorer. He's going to look to.
Now Boston College takes it away. Madsen hesitates, then drives in and misses the layup.
Now Madsen, I mean, he tried to avoid having the shot block. If he just takes that up on the side.
Defense into almost offense, everything but the finish.
Well, Harris couldn't decide whether he was just going to shoot it or dunk it, and he tried to do both and missed.
And that's something.
George will kick outside. George fighting for the rebound for the second effort. So R.J. Davis with 39.
Kapari down the lane, off the window, too strong. And this is where Miami's dangerous. In transition, Joseph catch, release. It's tipped left. Opening half, Dongo off balance. There's George again. 16 points, 5 assists for Kyshawn George. Joe Bay right through everybody. Rebound George. Joseph hits from three.
Here the ball if you're Georgia Tech.
A basket here makes it a two-possession game. Watson lets it fly. Offensive rebound by George. 2:20. 7 seconds. Poplar, baseline drive. It doesn't go. It comes back to George. He launches. Time expires. George
6'7". Shot fake. McCain put it up. Knew he missed it badly. Chased after it, but it's Miami ball.
And there was that shot fake that Wooga Poplar bid on to allow that shot.
Filipowski, and again, outstanding ball movement by the Blue Devils. Corner three won't go for McCain. George the rebound.
And that ball movement of comfort. That was a mistake by the committee not to have Clemson in the field. But this year it's a no-brainer. But like you say, there's still a ways to go. R.J. Godfrey has checked in for Ian Shefflin. Norchad O'Meara running.
Cost him a streak during one game, I remember.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. The rebound, George, off the Gerard miss.
Why, was Reddick pitching a no-hitter or something?
I think he had made side, had it blocked. Here comes Joseph. And he fumbled it, and then Chase Hunter blocked it. Joseph for three, and this broken, scrambly transition play.
Miami so much more efficient.
Kyshawn George, a freshman from Switzerland, and a guy who multiple NBA scouts come out to see every time Miami plays.
All of a sudden, they're sprinting back in transition.
Gerard.
It looked like there was contact there.
And down to George. They're trying to get the ball into Shefflin and take advantage of the size that he's got on.
Miami had a tremendous three-game run.
And he absolutely garnered the respect of Jim Larinaga and this Miami Hurricane team when he dropped those 33, so much so that they put size on him this game.
George will fire less. That was the case when they met back in January. Here's Nichols straight on, got a really good look, and that was in the cylinder and kicked out. On the run out. Turned over Pack. He wanted a foul, no call. Padula to Nickel. Nickel wants to paint. That's slapped right from behind into the hands of George. And he's tied up and fouled. And that foul. Here's George. He can't drive it. Spinning. Got free. Flips it up there. Follows his miss. And sticks that one.
Fortunate for Miami.
Shot clock is a factor now, down to 3. Padula will loft it up there. He follows his own miss. Batted around. Miami on the run. Joseph thought about it.
The two leading scorers on the season, the leading scorers on the night so far. Burns again.
That short roll is where DJ Burns can make some plays.
Hasn't made kind of flying Watson. Joseph's three no go. Long rebound. George is on the deck with possession of it. Shot clock is not reset. Inside Nwoko gives Miami its first lead. This State is +5 in that category. Horn a step on George. Horn drives it, and George grabs it.
That's back-to-back that Kevin Keats has run the Iverson cut for Horn over the top of that double screen.
9 of 22 from 2. Inside will get an early touch for Burns. Held up well by O'Meara, who's then called for a foul with 5 to shoot. Or Chad O'Meara's second. Pack, deep one. In and out. George, the only player who actually elevated for that rebound, and then he's fouled. Miami is plus.
And he has taken advantage of it.
Well, he has scored the last 6 points in the game to open up a 6-point Florida State lead. Kyshawn George with the terrific feed, and there's the bounce of Poplar, but he comes down hobbling. Norchad O'Meara, and here comes Kyshawn George. Throw it toward the rim, and Wooga Poplar says, I can't go up and get it anymore, but I can catch it and put it in.
Wooga does not have the bounce. If he's healthy now,
Kyshawn George into the game. Fellow freshman Nwoko cashes in with his first touch.
Well, he did a nice job moving.
Post has 15. He has knocked down 3 threes. Great pass. O'Meara rocks the rim. One-handed flush.
Miami team down a couple of starters into this game. It's going to be straight uphill. They may need a miracle, and it might start with that guy, Norchad O'Meara, who comes in averaging 17.
Biggs in the paint for the
Tar Heels while also finding ways to slow down R.J. Davis, who had 21 in the first half. He said he was sensational. He is setting the pace. This is what we talked about at the top.
And Wugga Poplar has scored in double figures in 4 straight, but he's still playing through an ankle that he suffered back in December. And there is Bensley Joseph, now 11 of his last 20. Chosen his words better, but that was a message to his team. I want to see you compete.
I understood the message pretty clear, and if anybody knows Damon Stoudemire, and I played against Damon Stoudemire on in this game, they are responding. They are matching the energy and then some against the Miami team.
Cleveland hits the mid-range jumper. On the other end, Tafara Gapari hit a 3.
Thing again, you take a look at Damon Stoudemire's staff, led by assistant Carl Hobbs. They do a great job working with these young players.
Bensley, is he now in Jim Larenega's circle of trust? Here's George, over to Joseph, lays it in for 2. Miami is lethal in transition.
And that's a heads-up play.
Turned it over, and now let's see if Miami can push. Poplar, deep 3, got it, Wugga Poplar. He's got a dozen.
You be a senior guard at Duke, having a good year as a team, very good year as a team, and you look at his numbers, and just about all of them are the best of his career, as Bensley Joseph knocks down a guy to give it to him.
There's a switch, and Filipowski on George. He can drive him.
Poplar with a 3, the assist to George.
And that's why Jim Larenega wants.
But has not appeared in the game, and at this point, obviously, it seems highly unlikely that he will. And the Hurricanes looking at the very real possibility of their 5th consecutive loss. Mid-range jumper for Christian Watson. And I'm with you again. Duke has won 15 of its last 17. One of the 2 losses was to Pitt when they didn't have Roach or Mitchell. Beautiful feed from George to Nwoko, who slams it home.
Kyshawn George, one of the top freshmen in the conference, to Norchad Omier. He looked like he had trouble with it, but he still found a way.
And again, I talked about spacing. They got 4 guys out on.
Ever seen. Matthew Cleveland with Ian Shefflin on him. Really, Miami's got 4 guards or 4 perimeter players around Norchad Omier, including Cleveland, who knocks down the corner 3.
And that's what. But like you say, there's still a ways to go. R.J. Godfrey has checked in for Ian Shefflin. Norchad Omier running the floor, and that'll snap the 9-0 run and get the Canes back within 1. When Kyshawn George grabs a night, Lucy's. One of your favorite spots on the circuit? It's fantastic. Poplar from the baseline. Well, you cannot allow him to just come off the screen and catch and shoot.
All pressure there by Omier. A tough catch for Hall.
And what they're doing is extending the catches.
George ahead to Cleveland, who slams it, and Miami gets back within 4.
Matthew Cleveland is at.
Here comes Joseph, and he fumbled it, and then Chase Hunter blocked it. Joseph for 3, and this broken, scrambly transition play results.
Does such a good job using his body and positioning himself, both to score and to rebound. You talk about a guy who's gotten better every year. He's a junior now out of Loganville, Georgia. And Omier with the 3.
Pack will give it up. Poplar dumping it down low. First touch for Omier, and they'll swing it around. Here's Cleveland with a pull-up pop and knocks it down. Nice quick start for him.
A great start for Matthew Cleveland to make his first Georgia Tech. And he has truly grown, and Mike Young's confidence in him has grown as well.
Yeah, he had scored a total of 18 the previous 3 games. A rainbow triple will drop for Pack. That's others in that incredible league on the scoring chart, so that's getting it done. Joseph drives, finishes 2.
I'll tell you what, where would Miami be without Bensley Joseph?
More than halfway through the half, that's NC State's first assist.
Well, NC State did a really good job of, wow, as Omier knocks down a triple, stretching out that trap and pulling Omier away from the bucket.
It is 7 as Pack penetrates. Kyshawn George. Pack gets a clean look. Pack has his first points.
Good ball movement by Miami.
And Austin is the team leader in block shots with 28 to start the afternoon. Poplar, he's got it. Point tries. And he did not have a strong game down at Georgia Tech. They won that game despite him only having 8 points. Just 3 of 8 from the floor for Hinson. That's a 3 ball. George backs it out with 10 on the shot clock. Pack, shimmy shake, and the shot for three. Nigel Pack.
4-point lead. And Omier actually did not play at Syracuse, so that graphic we had up there isn't correct. His last game was a 15-point, 15 rebound performance, but cutting to the basket, getting the easy layup.
Yeah, before that, Corey, the Irish had missed 9 of its last 10 shots. Coming out of the timeout, they get a good look. Not as good as that one. Third straight dunk for Norchad Omier.
A local young man playing here for the hometown Fighting Irish.
Norchad Omier picks up in the second half where he left off in the first.
And of course, Patrick Mahomes squaring off in the AFC Championship game. That's a big deal.
George throw it up to the rim, and it's another dunk for number 15. Omier now with 20-point
game. Miami's largest lead was 8. Syracuse's largest was 2. Pack gets free again. He's hit 3 in a row.
8 straight points.
Miami won both meetings. They've won 5 of the last 8 in the series. 3-ball Pack rings the bell. 13 now for Nigel Pack, who had 25 against Clemson. Kyshawn George back on the floor. Remember, he picked up the foul. Come back out there for Coach Larinaga. There's Omier with the left hand.
And that's against Poteet, who's a big guy, but
offensive rebound, Casey. Cannot give up extra possessions. Bensley Joseph from the outside. Another one of those 40%. And they've got to show improvement game to game. A shot clock. Inside 5. Poplar from the corner knocks it down.
Last year I did the Miami way points a game. Almost 50 from the 3. The freshman's been absolutely spectacular.
Pack with the shot clock winding down. Smooth.
Johnson's coming.
George, he wrestled it away from everybody. And aside from the shooting, George doing a nice spot in the glass and the finish on the other end by Cleveland.
Elite shooter, and you cannot go under on him. But he can spin, pivot on drives. He's got that deep range, and there he is again.
Right on cue, as they say, knocking down the elbow jumper.
2-3 zone is making Miami a little bit more of a stationary offensive team.
Cleveland from 18 knocks it down.
He's dangerous there. That's where he can be a playmaker.
Too strong.
His body's all over the place underneath with Hall and Omier.
Boy, George can really speed up the court, can he? And he gets the assist on the 3 by Cleveland.
Tain is number one thing on his bucket list.
Hang on. It wasn't finishing on an alley-oop. That's not number 1 on his bucket list?
No, number 1.
To come back here. It's a great place to be, especially during the winter.
When our bosses say you've got a game in Miami, I don't think anybody says no.
I tell you what, that was a beautiful find from George. He was not even looking. From ACC play, conference play starts, well, it's already started, but picks back up. Right after the new year, Bensley Joseph knocks down another corner 3.
3-point shots taken.
I'm here for it. If you've got a chance to win this game against Miami, who has beaten you by 20, and now 22 plus points in the paint as
I like the way the Canes have attacked the zone defense tonight, Corey.
They've done a great job at it.
Of the Ospreys.
One of my favorite guys to be around.
Yeah.
Love him. He just constant energy. As Christian Watson knocked down another 3. Watson had 10 points. That took him out of the game.
And Omier gets a little frustrated when they take him out with his first foul. And you saw there Jim Larinaga talking to him. Jim Larinaga is trying to build this team, and part of it is
stars to choose from for Jim Larinaga's Hurricanes, looking to improve their record to 9-2 on the year. Underway with the second half. Off the bounce, Poplar picks up right where he left off.
And we talked
25 points, a new career high, including 3 highlight reel dunks. He has been equally spectacular here today. There he is, comfortable on the low post as well. Back to the basket, face
4 games today. We have 2 on our networks, St. John's and Boston College, to follow us. Omier up top from George.
And a great read from George right there. And I love the execution.
Inside Casey from George. Miami had a couple of 3-minute-plus scoring droughts in this game.
Turnovers like that happen, but you get it right back, I'm sure they'll forget about it. Great split, great move by Chris Watson.
Wow. Strong finish.
Great finish. One thing we will
side. What do you want to see from these guys right now, Jack? What are you looking for?
You want to see them to play unselfish Miami basketball. Because you don't want to come in as a substitute.
Poplar a couple buckets early. 22 field goal attempts, though. Pack looking for some offense, and he finds him from the corner.
All starts by George, pushing it with the...
Rick Barnes has an excellent team, and Dalton Connect, who transferred in from Northern Colorado, has been their best player.
Got it outside for Watson, and he'll drill that. Christian Watson just off the bench, down the other end. One and done, though. Open man and a slam by O'Meara.
And John Calipari is not happy. After that miss, there was no urgency.
Canes just want to make sure they have good possessions down the stretch here. Don't allow the Wildcats to go on a little run right before the half.
Nigel Peck cannot miss.
When you're feeling it.
A lot of ball left here as K-State tries to chip away at the deficit. Nigel Peck. That's a long two.
That fade away from the opposite corner, going to
it back. Matthew has to shoot that first shot.
George with a shot fake. Here's Cleveland for three. That's good. That's a scorching hot from beyond the arc.
You want to be able to shoot the basketball in rhythm.
Played for UCF on Monday. There's a takeaway. Wide open O'Meara. Hilbert with her feet here for Wilson. Timeout on the floor. Johnny Dawkins his C9. Miami leads. Bensley Joseph to Nwoko. Little cut by George. Wooga Poplar a three, and that one is good. He finally gets one to go.
Well, if you look at his first three.
For the Highlanders last season.
Great touch around the basket. I like that. Very good touch. That's what you want to see. Got to be able to finish all those.
Well, defensively, it has not been the newness of the situation for Jamir Watkins. He has a season going on with steals that puts him in the same ilk.
And see, now if you're Earl Grant, you like the fact that Post has scored, but you have to wonder, do you keep him in there?
Now Boston College takes it away. Madsen hesitates and been so successful. They're 6-3 on the road this year.
George lost the handle. Davis there to scoop it. Davis wants to attack.
Great job defensively by Bensley Joseph. Three here would go a long way, OB. Bensley Joseph is open on this corner.
Knocked away by Ingram. He got to it. He stayed in bounds. And he'll lay it in.
And he knows that he has let me down, even though he got a major three-point for his team.
He's got 9 minutes to go to make up for it. Sucked away. Carolina forcing the turnover. Cadeau will lean in. Blocked by O'Meara.
That was a great...
Was mimicking Ghaffari, and the coach blew the whistle and said, no. Let him shoot. We're not defending that. He's not going to make that. That's got to be a confidence booster for Tafari Ghaffari.
Yeah, it's open looks. I think that's thus far in this game.
It's been that way since the opening tip. George tied up, and jump ball is the call. Possession arrow to Georgia Tech.
George throws it behind Cleveland, and Miami turns it over. Clemson leading by 5, 7:39 to go.
Blocked by Chase Hunter to save a basket from Matthew Cleveland. It ultimately led to that Joseph three.
You know, Jay, if you had watched the whole game, but you didn't know the score, wouldn't you think Clemson's up by more than 4 points?
Yes.
Cleveland trying to drive by Shefflin. Good help by Hall. Shot clock at 5. And an offensive foul on Kyshawn George. It becomes the noisier here at Littlejohn. Brad Brownell's down in a stance on the Clemson bench. Walk. And a travel called on George.
O'Meara again. Nearly lost it. And the kick, that'll be out of play. And Miami a little bit wild, distributing the ball already with 4 turnovers.
Cox in the second game, so.
George on the wing. George stripped of the basketball, and the Hokies will pry it free. Collins.
Take it away. Welcome to PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Kevin Brown into the armpit of Burns. The ball is thrown off the backboard in the direction of Burns, who somehow did not get a touch as George travels and he owes it.
I mean, I don't know if Bensley Joseph can... L.J. Thomas getting extended minutes early. NC State picking up their pressure defensively off the last timeout.
Miami's going to make
free throws, things like that where they have to execute better.
Georgia's pass deflected. Miami's now turned it over as many times as they did in the whole game on Saturday against Pitt. That's 8.
Deep on the shot clock. George has it weak side. Kyshawn George came alive, Mike, with 21 in the loss at Wake. Had it poked away. All the way to the rim. Slapped. 2 games of the NCAA tournament. Made it to the first 4. 1 in the first round. Miami went all the way to the Final 4. They hadn't been since 2016 prior to that visit to the tournament. Had the 33 points at Notre Dame, Mike. Most points for a Miami player in an ACC road game since 2009. Canes cough it up. Carrington, 1-on-1, waiting for...
And then Imes knocks it away. Who's going to come up with it? Held ball. Coach Shrewsbury is fired up.
There's that high hedge from Brown. Step in by George and an offensive foul as he hit Mintz in the face. That's 2 fouls on
aggressive. Here comes Jackson. Court knocks it away from George, and the foul.
ACC basketball. Here's the freshman George working against Jaden Young, and he stepped out of bounds in front of Mike Young right there at the Hokie bench. So Kyshawn George, who's from Monthey in Val, and George on the drive, and offensive foul on Kyshawn George. Second on the Swiss freshman, second on Miami.
Goes in bounds.
Omier going to set the screen. They're going to throw the ball deep. Omier lost it on the end line, tried to make the save, went out of bounds.
Wow.
So they tried to throw the post route to North.
Look how the Louisville defense. Heelson, three-point line, more pack line, defensive principles, keeping it in front, taking away driving lanes, creating turnovers.
Here's James already with 14. Launch that field, cannot hit. Now George, who was telling us about 3 years ago, he was about 5'11". He's now 6'8". Here comes
Hendrickson, and that's his. He's 2 of 3 from 2 on the year. Stolen by Hildreth from George. Trying to go up the sideline, and a foul is called. Have the lead on the CW. It's going to carry over to the second half. Miller the steal, and he lays it in. First 3 on his first 3-point attempt of the game. Late in the first half.
Just a great battle with Miller and Pack going at each other.
Miami travels. Wake Forest back.
Different shade of orange. When he goes to the free throw line, it's almost like an intentional walk.
Yeah. The lob. And just a little away by George.
Oh, just a poor pass from P.J. Hall.
And then George gives it right back, stolen by Godfrey. The lower leg injury, that'll give Clemson tremendous depth when they get those 2 veteran players back. Both good players. George called for the offensive foul. Kicks it back out to George, 7 to shoot. George stripped by Hunter. Chase Hunter trying to go the distance, and he lays it in.
Lanier for a roster spot, but coaching was truly his calling, and he's been a basketball lifer for sure.
That's great defense by Joseph.
And then he is the last to touch it out of bounds.
From the corner. And Cleveland with another nice deflection. We'll see if they give the rebound to him or George, but Matthew Cleveland with a huge part of it, and then George turns it over in the front court.
So he'll be their best player, and soon.
He's made 7 of his last 10 threes. I mean, he's 40% for the year, but he can stroke it. And here's the steal. Brantley the theft, and he missed.
George at 6'8" can bring the ball up for Miami.
Well, he's more than a guy that can bring the ball up now. Of course, you forced a turnover, Kevin Brown. Talking about his, yes, that was you.
You brought up that
this afternoon. Tristan Silva has stepped up.
19 points, 3 shy of a season high. Another turnover. That's Miami's 19th. De Silva again. This time he'll lay it.
But once you get it down, you letting that thing fly. It's hitting the back of the net.
Kyshawn George with the traveling chains instead of the nets.
No nets.
Hey, is there a better sound? Uh-oh, I thought Christian Watson was about to throw that alley-oop too. Is there a better sound instead of the nets, the chain, if you're out on the playground?
Rebound picked off by the Canes. You know, Kentucky's coming off 118 points against Marshall. That's the most for the Cats in a Calipari era. Last time Kentucky had back.
And they're a super long team.
That shot no good. Kyshawn George with the rebound. Miami in transition. Near traveler. They're going to get him for it. Yes, indeed. George travels. Deke Francis, the freshman out of Pittsburgh. He poured in 11 in the exhibition against Seton Hall. An exhibition, by the way, for the Highlanders. They lost 68-60 to Seton Hall. They had a down low.
He's got to keep that basketball high.
Shot clock went off. And that's a shot clock violation, or they handed the ball back? Nice.
Not noted for defense, but their man-to-man defense has done a nice job keeping pressure on the ball.
Shot clock down to 2. Alik Bey lost the handle.
Pack from 3, and in fact, earlier this year, during a shoot-around for an opponent, one of the players on that opposing team went to close out on the scout team player who was mimicking.
Impacted his production.
The Frenchman Joe Bay back in there. Is he now in Jim Larinaga's circle of trust? Here's George. Over to Joseph. Laid 1 for 6 in the second half.
Yeah, tough. Obviously, it's been a struggle, but
the press is giving Georgia Tech problems. And Trey Stein says last touch, Coasius a 3-point lead. Kelly's got 25. George takes it away. Watson
on the open 3. His scoring is up from last year. His 3-point percentage is up. And he's already got more blocks and assists than he had all of last season. Kyshawn George with the steal and the finish.
Time on defense.
Proctor loses it. And what bodies?
It needs to be a quicker move and go up, because Ryan Young was just waiting for Norchad Omier to put the ball on the deck so that he could go double.
Now George's steal. Boy, good ball pressure there by Omier. A tough catch for Hall.
And what they're doing is extending the catches.
George ahead to Cleveland, who slams it, and Miami.
Padula gave up the dribble and gave up the basketball. Joseph with it now. He'll pull up and pop again. Picked by Omier, and he will slam it down on the other end of the floor. How about that?
Back-to-back turnovers.
Sean Padula. Minute 38 to go. Blocked by George. Trying to get ahead on the run. Gets around Padula.
Yes, to the area. Somehow he got it back to Leggett. Shot clock at 6. Miami smothering D.
Pitt is getting nothing in the lane area.
5 on the timer. Burton has it poked away. Good defense by George. And then on.
In that conversation, my 2 favorite quarterbacks, Lamar and, of course, Patrick Mahomes, squaring off in the AFC Championship game. That's a big deal.
George throw it. Didn't expect him to come back. He's got his warm-up on sitting on the Miami bench, so the Canes need somebody else to step up.
They absolutely do need someone else to step up. And you also have to mention the fact that Norchad Omier didn't play on Saturday, and coming into this
now trying to get away from the double team of George and Omier with 8 to shoot, and he threw it away. And Kyshawn George, told you in the first half, this young 6'8" freshman from Switzerland.
16 of the 18 points, and really good job of Louisville finding him in transition, finding him along the baseline, finding him off penetration. George, the theft, the
play from behind. Pack now with 19. He is the high scorer in the game. Backdoor taken away by George. Just a poor pass from P.J. Hall.
A bucket on the drive-by. Nate Lateras could not stay in front of Kyshawn George.
There's Bensley with the steal on that possession, and this is where Miami's at their best, getting out in transition, but a turn.
On the year, over 40%. He's made 3 triples here tonight.
And now the Canes looking like the Ospreys, pulling up a threes on back-to-back possessions on the break. I would suspect we see a 3 here.
And at this end, North Florida has taken almost 3 times as many three-point shots as two-point shots. Not going to get a shot off that time. George, throw it to the rim. I guess he wasn't going to beat out Dave Bing or Bob Lanier for a roster spot. But coaching was truly his calling, and he's been a basketball lifer for sure.
Choke. Active early. O'Brien grabs his 3 in the middle of 4 Hurricanes in the lane, and then it's ripped away by the aforementioned freshman Kyshawn George. And Pack is bumped. Came up to defend the ball. So back in the half court for Colorado with a 9-point lead. And then a takeaway as George steals it from Hammond, who commits a foul.
The nice find.
Although this Canes, they're up by 23, you don't want to see turnovers like that happen. But you get it right back, I'm sure they'll forget about it. Great split, good move.
With the fan in the strand saying attack the rim to Jalen Worley, who has had so much success. He gave up an opportunity right there to get downhill once again and put pressure on Miami's defense.
Dongo to Kelly, blocked by George. Sturdivant leads. Rebound George.
But he can't do it. That was Nigel Pack. He wanted a foul, no call. Padula to Nickel. Nickel wants the paint. That's slapped right from behind into the hands of George. And he
at 42-inch vertical.
He hadn't dunked for a few games after the ankle injury. Got one against Pitt Saturday as George spikes it into the second row.
They're going to defend you for 40 minutes, and if they get perimeter shooting, the way they attack the paint just makes them a difficult out.
Worley blocked by George. Omier keeps it in bounds.
Off the back of the iron. Here's Collins. Padula spinning through against George and got it slapped out of there. Now here's Miami, quick transitioning.
Hildreth recovered. Reed had it. Now Hildreth gets it back. He's on the run. He goes behind the back with the dribble. Miami gets it back.
Got a little too cute. Carr actually leading Wake in assists in this game with 5. Hildreth got caught in the air. George knocked it away. Hildreth somehow.
That voice you hear belongs to Brad Brownell, the Clemson coach, who's right in front of us. We are about as close to a coach as you'll ever be over by the Clemson bench.
Brickis has got to try to take advantage of his bigger player, but shout out to George just sliding with him, playing well defensively.
Oh, Zan rejected. George and Omier were both right there.
Canes are 0 for their last 5 from the field, still leading by 9, nearing 4 minutes left to play. Ball taken away. What a save by Nigel Pack into the hands of Matthew Cleveland. Here's
man-to-man.
Well, you got Madsen out there. Hand just hit one, Corey. Here's Madsen setting up another. Spins out. Omier the rebound.
I'll tell you what,
Rice in 2007 against Miami, ironically, in the quarterfinal game.
WD, what year was that with Olivier Handler?
2013.
Was that the same year that Harrison Barnes went for 40?
One other final score on this final day of the ACC regular season. Virginia Tech has beaten Notre Dame 82-76. Everybody but Syracuse. Cam Reddick.
Oh, it's too easy. I gave you way too many hits.
Who's the other kid out of Westtown School in the NBA?
Derek Lively. Come on, stop.
3 minutes plus.
Yeah, and Coach L, we had a chance to talk with him this morning at shoot-around. Omier, one of the best rebounders he's ever coached. This guy right here, though.
But he's made his biggest impact on the defensive end.
Beekman will drive, scoop, and that'll rattle in. So finally, Virginia gets into the score.
Today on ESPN.
Well, what a day and night to come here on ESPN and our family of networks. Padula has that one.
That's 8. And NC State is +5 in that category. Horn a step on George. Horn drives it, and George grabs it.
That's back to
Today is number 1,228 for Jim Larinaga. Third foul on Joseph there, and here's Horn again. It doesn't take him much to get going.
and NC State.
The 3 guards, Morcell, Horn, and Taylor have done most of the scoring, and Horn continues. That's a long.
They are the better defensively they get, and it's just Pitt has been so much more active in the last 5 minutes. Whoa! Hinson, I don't know about that one. I mean,
Get into foul trouble.
Hildreth from the corner. That was the 3 attempts. Batted around. Carr kept it out.
Miller's also a transfer, Mike, from Central Michigan. Spent 2 years in that program. Salas launching.
That is the 8th leading scorer in the ACC with just a couple of points in his 15 minutes. Meanwhile, Norchad Omier has done more than his share to help. Yeah, a couple of years as well as a Division II head coach at American International College up in Massachusetts. And you can bet he keeps track of those guys as well.
The country in 3-point shooting.
George is making his first career start in place of Nigel Pack. He's got 9 early points. Those 3 gotten back.
Now, if you're Stonehill, I think what you're trying to. If you're Stonehill, what you're trying to do is just run some offense and play.
Second shot clock before they get going.
Dillingham. Shepard's open in the corner. Rebound picked off by the King.
A little bit more athletic maybe than McNair. Just a better matchup.
Carter catch and shoot. Dead ends off the side of the rim. Kaluma grabs.
Coach at the University of Virginia, lost to Chris Webber and the Detroit Super Friends in the national championship.
I didn't realize it was called the Leon County.
Get back to the real action. Unable to knock down the 3 ball. Been a lot of threes taken by both these teams, where normally we see Florida State doing more of that, attacking the.
At 8 for 13 beyond the line in the first half. They're 2 for 8 in the second half. Here's a long one. Davis, yes. 30 on the nose.
Guard to Clemson is going to be what seed? Yep. This is an NCAA tournament team without question.
Why not? Chase Hunter.
Now the 11th rebound for Len Kidd, who is doing his best Norchad Omier impression in this game.
Padula with a travel. Padula got to 1,000 points in his career earlier and now drains a long 3.
His court. After glancing up at the shot clock, Knesny puts it on the deck, spins away from George, hangs in the air, missed it. There to 5 on the timer. Burton has it poked away. Good defense by George. Game run to begin this second half. Knesny, no.
It's the bigger George will feed Taylor. 3 to shoot it. Taylor's got George all over him. Taylor gets it on the rim, and Poplar soars in for the defensive.
It's a glass there. If he's, on the perimeter, he's doing the DHO stuff, dribbling, handing off to the guards, but he ran in there, got to get that offensive rebound.
Spears created space. Poplar 16 of the 18 points, and really good job of Louisville finding him in transition, finding him along the baseline, finding him off penetration. George, the theft. In terms of reading advantage, disadvantage, then getting into their sets and trying to move the defense. James on the drive, off balance, follows his miss. Block.
Salas misses. George up ahead, Pack.
Today, like his goal, he wants to get to a Final Four, hang an ACC championship banner, which they haven't done since 1990. Good rebound by Shefflin.
Made. This year they're number 2 behind only Brigham Young at 12.5 made triples per game. A rare mid-range shot, and it's an air ball.
Season that the Hurricanes have gone over 90 points.
Young man out of West Oaks Academy in Orlando. Grew up in...
Brickus kicks it. Brantley spins, finding daylight narrowly, and he throws up an air ball. Great defense by Kyshawn.
Cam Carter crossing over on the true freshman and floats it in off the window.
I told you earlier that he felt pretty comfortable coming back into this building, and he's looked comfortable with the ball in his hands here, but this has been the weapon for Florida State already.
State basketball. Chandler Jackson with it. Under control into the paint, left it short. Cleveland pulls down the miss.
Was with the fan in the strand saying attack the rim to Jalen Worley, who has had so much success. He gave up an opportunity right there to get downhill once again and put pressure on Miami.
Madsen off the screen for 3. Got it! Then Boston College in front.
Is the rim. Kelly with 14 in the first half to lead Georgia Tech. He lines up a deep 3. Give him 17. A 3-point lead. Kelly's got 25. George takes it away.
Zachary slowing it down for the Eagles offense. Screen by Madsen from the elbow.
It was so much better than when they dribble into a shot. And Clemson's going to want to make them put it on the deck rather than shoot from the catch spot.
We asked Jim Larinaga this morning, when you rewatched the tape of the first
Beekman, a pull-up pop and short. Rebound tap back out
to make plays like North Chattelmere. Many guys would shoot that and it would clang off the rim.
In the loss to NC State, 18 points, 14 rebounds. Padula, that was partially blocked.
And this is a young man who couldn't buy one when he started off his career here in Miami, but has since then, after the first 6 or 7 games, has really gotten it going.
Padula's so good at nickel beyond the 3. Collins thought about it. He'll drive it instead. Miami comes away.
At 42-inch vertical.
He hadn't dunked for a few games after the ankle injury. Got one against Pitt Saturday as George spikes it into the... Hasn't scored in over 10 minutes. It's the 16:30 mark. They get a screen for Morcell and Horn. Got a good look, but missed from 3.
The Orange's leading score at 18.5 per game controls. Now the leading scorers in the ACC will lean in with a second to shoot. And his missed shot cleaned up.
He's missed a couple of games this year. Poplar missed a couple of games. Watkins down the lane. Corin to finish.
Getting his waiver, and you're watching this team ascend to the top of the ACC.
Watkins leaves it short. Another rebound, 4 3-point attempts.
I think Miami likes the matchups as well.
Watkins denied by O'Meara. Player, he's got to play 4 and 5, a little undersized, but a guy that plays with a sense of purpose. Williams is a big-time shot maker. Not sure that's a shot that Coach Payne would.
That voice you hear belongs to Brad Brownell, the Clemson coach, who's right in front of us. We are about as close to a coach.
And at this end, North Florida has taken almost 3 times as many 3-point shots as 2-point shots. Not going to get a shot off that time. George, throw it to the rim.
Knight, the NBA's official minor league system, essentially, where he served as the director of the Professional Path program since 2018. Another bucket, back-to-back buckets for the Sharks. Though.
Strong rebound. Got to finish that down there.
Open 3, no good. Nwoko.
Not white uniforms, and I like the choice by Gainey.
And Corey can tell that Miami's in their road black uniforms, and here come the boos for Matt.
Just knocked down a 3, but great job by Miami getting back defensively.
Here's Bull Bowen off the bounce. Long rebound tracked down by Watkins. Spears down the lane, and he banks it in. I thought he had way too much
back on defense so far.
And fade away. Can't hit it. Just hit a deep three on the last possession for BC. Madsen, he heaves it as the shot clock sounds, misses it. McLaughlin.
Swinging left to right and a lot more assisted buckets.
Reeves passed on the three, drives on O'Meara, and Dongo knocked it out of bounds. Georgia Tech's 20 baskets have been assisted. Kelly on the drive, 19 for him.
Well, I think the biggest thing has been, as you said earlier, defensively, they've just been unable to defend. Look, even with the injury, as we take a look at an and-one situation.
Kelly down the lane, off balance, and it rolls out. The tip by Dongo. No.
Both capable of getting you 20 or more in any given game.
And realistically, the way things are going for Miami, 15-11, 6-9 in the league, for them to make the NCAA. Gerard cross court. Now Shefflin gets into the paint, puts it up, left it short, and Miami can hold.
Good fake.
Hall into the paint, scoops it up and in, and P.J. Hall starting to assert himself. Hall back into the game for the Tigers. Two-man game with Gerard. Open is Clark. The step in, the pull up, rebound Cleveland.
He will elevate and shoot. Austin trying to come in there. In the middle, gives it to Leggett. Nwoko over the top for the pre on the season. That's the most by any Miami player this year. Leggett's got two defenders all over him. Got the shot away. Tested area. Somehow he got it back to Leggett. Shot clock at 6. Miami smothering D. Pitt is it with the shot clock inside of 10. Stop and start drive. Into the teeth of the D. Fall away Carrington. Joseph high for the rebound. The lead back to double digits. O'Meara now with 18 points. Carrington out of the corner. Fall away.
To have signed up.
And Burton actually signed with the previous coaching regime with Mike Bray. And you know how that goes. You've got, when you're the new coach, you got to come in and re-recruit Butler as well. Knesny beats the buzzer.
He's got a real connection with Copeland off the bench, and Judah Mintz returns to the floor. Bell off the shot fake. Rounded out for 2, and Miami finally clears it. Copeland going to drive it into George. Copeland hanging in the air for a long time. Rebounded by Brown. 42% three-point shooter, Nigel Pack. Copeland inside George, and another Miami foul.
Finish strong. He doesn't want you to save anything. Give it all you got, tap out. Sub. The next guy comes in and does the same thing.
Worley walks.
Dominate the switches. When these guards switch, as they switch 5 and the guards get on him, he has to dominate the offensive glass.
Watkins underneath. They continue to challenge O'Meara.
Number 7. Padula trying to get by Bensley Joseph. Here's Tyler Nickel, a fall away on the freshman George. And the rebounder is Barron on the perimeter against Cleveland. Robbie Barron on the drive. Skipping the corner. Rex Steiner went in the air, put it on the ground, and traveled. Off the back of the iron. Here's Collins. Padula spinning through against George and got it slapped out of there. Now from Padula. And here is Padula. Kyshawn George tagging him defensively. Tough shot. Padula got it back and scores.
9 points by coming by way of the three-point shot. Hildreth, travel, back to Miami.
Same foot. They classified it as a lower extremity injury. Hildreth all the way across. Salas out of the corner. Head of steam. Does not get the bounce.
Multiple possessions. But George wasn't even looking back there at Cleveland. He was actually looking off the defenders at Bensley Joseph.
Count the back league. I guess he wasn't going to beat out Dave Bing or Bob Lanier for a roster spot. But coaching was truly his calling, and he's been a basketball.
Oh, now he's 6'8". Brantley with a shot clock at 6. Over George and Cleveland, and he scores, splashing it.
Although this Kings, they're up by 23, you don't want to see turnovers like that happen. But you get it right back, I'm sure they'll be a breakout player this year.
A 4-time All-State pick in high school in the Chicagoland area. And a running shot fading away, no good.
He walks on his tippy toes. You know, some things you just cannot teach.
Strong to the rack.
You don't want to see Strickland get back to the lane. You know, he's in the gym now. They don't know what it's like to be on the playground, scorching sun, scraping up your knees, coming back in the house.
Tripping on rocks.
Tripping on rocks, face dirty.
Back.
They didn't make it. Nobody cares what you're doing unless you're doing what you're not supposed to be doing. That makes sense.
Roper into the crowd, too strong. Good contest from the freshman.
Reeves for Mitchell.
Can't hide talent, Dave O'Brien.
Edwards. Terrific fake, leaning in, yes.
And that's the kind of aggressive play.
Said what, 41 in the national
41.
championship game?
Yeah, I think that was at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, if I remember right. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Over the top and up and in, and they're all falling.
Johnson, top of the key, working on Bensley Joseph. Gets trapped in the paint. They get it out. Shot up, no good. A bit too strong. Another offensive rebound, though. Boy, the big fella down low, shot no good. Here come the Canes, 3-on-2.
I believe next time down the floor we're going to see a Nigel Pack 3. If he's open, he's letting it fly. As a scorer, all you need to do is see the ball go in.
Turnaround jumper, good for Sellers.
You got to go straight up, straight down, and also follow up with your rebound.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to get one. To the rack bucket, no good. You know, Ooh, hello. Kyshawn George just got put on the deck.
It's amazing the way their offense has inspired their defense.
Here's post the catch. Harris sets for 3, and it's off. It'll spin out. McLaughlin taps it.
From beyond the three-point arc and all the great shooting first years in the ACC, he's at the tops as far as accuracy.
We're not in Charlottesville. They're freshmen.
Starting 5, and he's the point guard. And so when you think about that, that shows you really, you know, part of the height discrepancy that Florida State has over Miami throughout
back.
You know
and
what?
Not hear about it.
I'm not sure it's quite a rivalry. And the reason why is because Florida State has won 11 of the last 12 games. I'm not sure you can count that a rivalry until, I'm sure at some point I did, but I don't any longer.
Nicene.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Apparently only his mom calls him Nicene, of course, when she's not happy with him.
Productive in the last couple games he's played. Ooh.
Madsen a 3 off the post miss, and he comes up empty as well.
Well, Madsen is a guy who made 7, have had outstanding seasons.
We were talking earlier, we think it's as hard as it's ever been as Madsen drills the 3 from the corner.
Kings is actually 2 starters here tonight that won't make it start this game.
Oh, that's a time. And that's Ryan from the corner, in and out. He had a great day on Saturday.
Performer in the ACC this season, OB.
40% from 3 is Ryan. Feeling it.
That's real points per game missing, but not just that. The threat of Nigel Pack's shooting ability often opens up so many other things for his teammates.
And we've got a great look, courtesy of Bank there. See if Baycott gets involved.
And the battle between O'Meara and Baycott has been a huge one today. Norchad O'Meara doing a great job.
Great team. Took it all the way to the Final Four, and they were a healthy team, too. Incredibly so. Here's Ryan. That'll clang away, and the rebound to Miami. Mayer didn't finish it, but he's a load in there. Ingram to Ryan. Ingram's open. He can nail that. And it's in and out.
Was chicken in the past, but how about Roy Williams up on the other side cheering on with the students, trying to get everybody cookies. And Roy's always been a snacker.
From the corner, can't hit it.
In hand. I want to make sure that everyone knows that you did eat one of those cookies, OB.
And it was delicious. Ryan can't.
3s for Miami, and I think the key thing is with their clean looks, that's got to change. Georgia Tech's got to do a better job contesting the three-point line.
Kawasi Reeves from the dribbling by Kelly. Longo setting the screen for George. Over to Reeves. He's usually there for Miami. Let's see if Georgia Tech tries to go inside. Debo Coleman into the game for Georgia Tech. He'd missed the last 4 with concussion-related symptoms.
In a hurry. That was a really good closeout. Because McCain is going to shot fake, and a lot of people bite on that fake.
Foster from the corner. Short on the 3. Joseph even without Nigel Pack and even without Matthew Cleveland, at least to this point of the game, there are a lot of good offensive players on this Hurricanes roster. And there's a pretty good one right. Lepowski wide open. And the rebound down to Foster.
Long shots lead to long rebounds. The guards can get those.
And the second time it'll go.
He's got logo range. So obviously, again, his offense not being in the lineup, huge.
Batson with a 3, and he converts. Mason.
He's underneath the foul line, just was short on it. But he was wide open.
Batson the 3. Yes, sir.
Fifth, to your point about getting the ball into P.J. Hall, he's got 3 points in this game. He has only taken 1 shot, made a 3. That's it. Gerard, no, and you'd love to see Hall get a touch every.
Beadle can't get around Poplar. Chase Hunter is wide open. Misses the 3. Shefflin.
He's turned it over 4 times, but overall he's played an excellent floor game.
Only 7 Hurricanes have played, and Michael Nwoko hasn't played much. Only 5 have scored.
Down shooter, but also an excellent defender. Going up against Nigel Pack, who's one of the most difficult guys to guard in the ACC.
Padula catches, fires. That's off the side of the backboard. Losing Isaiah Wong and Jordan Miller, 2 absolute stars from last year's team, and so very tough to replace. Here's Padula. Oh, a lot of ice. Continues. Up top, here's Kidd, who had 10 rebounds in the first half. Couture with a kick. Padula lofts one up, but it'll be short.
And enough have his input.
Couture fakes. Barron will shoot it.
For him, he missed that game at Wake Forest, which was an overtime loss for the Canes on the road. Matthew Cleveland had a chance to win it in regulation. That's a 3.
Those were 3s early in that game.
And O'Meara was 12 of 14 shooting, Mike, in that win on the road against Notre Dame this week.
Still room for improvement, Tom.
He's bringing
some tough jump shots. George with that 3, and then O'Meara at the end.
Leggett has the 3 at the other end for the Panthers.
Last 5 games, they have had no continuity, and that's really what hampered Coach L a couple seasons ago when they struggled in ACC play, was the injuries. But hopefully, as
you recognize immediately when it's left your fingertips if you've left it that short. So why not try and go get it?
No. If you follow your shot, that means you're not confident as a shooter.
Last season, that is.
Oh, that's nice.
Back out to Shrewsbury for the wide open look.
Them to become upperclassmen. Now you're really working with something that you continue to recruit and bring in some young pieces.
Knesny.
Front and keep those guys so it doesn't put so much pressure on his bigs.
Miami starts at 5 for 6. Taylor off the shot fake. Blows by George, rattles out at 2.
You know, he's a guy that's really irreplaceable.
Here's Taylor. Thought about the 3. He'll set up Mintz instead. That is off the iron to the right. Syracuse now 6 for.
Needs some more movement, even off the ball. Just going to down screen or just being able to exchange on those wings. There's no movement.
It's a good look for Bell. It's a 7th straight missed 3.
Watkins denied by O'Meara. They let them play. Now Baba Miller lets it fly, and Baba
Miller early. But Mekhi Long did a nice job with the block out.
Padula's return to the lineup. He'll kick it across for Nichols' 3.
Weston, I'm telling you, that's...
Thought he did too. Shows you a lot of promise. What gifts he's got for a young man his size. Here is a 2-ball, or that's 3 for Collins. And Barron.
Early in the shot clock without trying to penetrate into the lane.
Kick into the corner. Collins will launch. Back.
Making better decisions in transition.
Difference between a veteran team and a young team.
100%.
That one doesn't go for Williams. Casey clears.
And you said Al. And I said, who's Al? And you said?
You can call me Al. In the words of Paul Simon and Ring Gardner. But here's the deal.
To go in the first half of play. So glad that you're with us for CW Courtside Saturday. Tom Murphy, Mike Javitsky, and our outstanding crew. Salas came up short. Here's Pat. Too much on that one. Carr fought for it, as he does almost every possession, to preserve it and get it to Salas, who's on target for three.
Scoring in about 3 seconds in transition.
Down to a three-point game. Hildreth lining up a three. Carr on the weak side.
Fighting season high a lot this year with him.
4 of 6 on three-pointers for George, including that one moments ago. Salas wants that three. Doubled and triple teamed on the baseline. Hildreth. Carr. Shot clock down to 7. Carr came up short. Ted. Hildreth. Trying to go past George. He hit the deck. Carr over the top of George. Miller leads the way with 18. Not currently on the floor for Wake. Salas. Missing on the three. Third in school history. Kicks it to the corner. Fredrickson. Keller preserving the possession to Salas. The baseline. Wake, third best three-point shooting team in the conference. Carr thought about one, gave it to Hildreth. That's for three. Both sides of the rim. O'Meara had it knocked away by
stepping up. He's going to be able to play point guard at some point for this Miami team. Dylan Hunter. Sheplin the rebound. Left shoulder for a turnaround jumper. That is not easy, but he made it look easy. Chase Hunter, no, and Sheplin called.
Only 24 minutes. That's dominant.
That was against Stonehill last week. And yes, again, the threes are going to be flying on both ends, particularly for the Ospreys. And we saw that turnover there as Cleveland tried to make the pass. Chaz Lanier, no. Luka Poplar the rebound. Everything since. Meanwhile, the Canes have barely missed. 6 for 8 from the floor. And all 6 of those have been assisted. The Ospreys stay cold. And what did you say? The top 10 guys in the rotation. What was the statistic, Corey?
The top 10 guys in the rotation all average over 1 3-point field goal attempt per game. Really has and has been playing great basketball as of late. I had opportunity to be there to watch the game against Florida State. Talked to his dad pregame as we see the Ospreys knocked out.
With Carolina's Armando Bacot and Baylor Shireman of Creighton. Good find, Lateris, wide open three.
And that's the...
Corner three, no.
He's a really hard worker.
Now, both of his parents were engineering majors at Georgia Tech back in the day. And education. O'Meara with a...
That's how you apply offensive pressure. Come down and make an uncontested three in transition.
Felder gets those 3 back.
I think it's get Brantley the ball time and let him go. He's feeling it right now.
Had the hot hand. He kicks it. Marrero's 3 comes up short. And Cleveland.
They need some time. But this is a guy for a long time. As an executive and as a player, knows what it's like to win basketball games. Finally, the Sharks are on the ball. Number 3 on the way. And again, it's Ty Strickland.
I think transition, shooting a shot, being confident. That's what you want to see.
So we'll see how they handle themselves out on the court. As Robinson makes...
Really, and keeping them in control and running their stuff. Marcus Burton would love to get going. Terry Booth